For questions 7, 8, and 9, you need to show all of your work as you're answering these questions. This means showing the formula that you used and the math that you did to get to your final answer. Number 7 asks, which is a greater speed? Runner A, who travels 600 meters in 60 seconds, or runner B, who travels 60 meters in 5 seconds? You do need to find the speed for both runner A and runner B and compare those speeds to figure out which runner went faster. Number 8 is looking for average speed. Remember, average speed is total distance divided by total time. In this case, we have our total distance of 400 kilometers and our total time of 1.5 hours. Finally, number 9 is asking for velocity. Remember, velocity is speed and direction. It does give us a direction in this problem, so make sure to read it carefully and add that in once you've calculated your speed. Our next section involves graphing. You need to show your work again for any word problems. There are notes and a video to go along with them that have to do with the Nearpod that we watched on distance time graphs. Feel free to look at these notes and watch the video if you need a refresher on how to answer these questions. You will be looking at the distance versus time graph shown on the screen and answering a couple of questions about it. The first one is asking to find the average speed of the object, and it does want you to round to the nearest hundredth. Remember, you do need to show your work for this. The next questions ask you to describe the motion of the object, first from 0 to 10 hours, and then from 10 to 12 hours. 0 to 10 would be this section of motion. 10 to 12 would be this section of motion. So make sure you're looking at the right segments of the graph when you answer those questions. The next two will ask you to draw a graph. The first graph you will draw is an object traveling at a constant speed away from a reference point, stopping for a certain amount of time, and then returning to the reference point at a constant speed. For this one, we already gave you the distance in kilometers and time in hours. You do not need to write down each distance, just give us a generalization. If you click on the edit button, a good way to get started with this graph is to click on the line, and then you can click and drag to where you want it. It doesn't matter how steep these lines are, as long as you're showing us that it is traveling at a constant speed away from a reference point, stopping, and then returning back. The final question asks you to draw a graph showing an object traveling at constant speed away from a reference point, and then immediately traveling right back to the reference point at a constant speed. You have to label these boxes now, so think about which goes in each. Where does distance go? Where does time go? And what do you want your units to be?